Welcome to Whispered Tales, the podcast where we help you unwind, let go of the day, and ease into a restful sleep. I'm Ethan, your host, and it's an honor to have you here tonight. Whether you're nestled under warm blankets or just finding a quiet moment, this is your time to relax and recharge. Our little Whispered Tales family is here to guide you into a world of calm, where the worries of the day simply melt away. Tonight, we'll follow the journey of Liam Hayes, a young man whose heart beats for the hum of engines and the open road, from a quiet village tucked among rolling hills. Liam's story is one of passion and discovery, a tale to carry you gently towards sleep. So, settle in, feel your body sink into the bed, and let your mind soften as my voice guides you along. Here at Whispered Tales, our goal is to wrap you in a sense of peace. Life can feel heavy at times, sleepless nights, daily stresses, but right now, you're safe. As you listen, know that in this moment, everything is all right. There's no need to hold on to tension or dwell on the day. We are here to cradle your mind with a gentle story, helping you find that quiet place where sleep comes naturally. Take a deep breath now, filling your chest with calm, soothing air. Feel it expand and let it go, exhaling any stress or unease. With each breath, invite in tranquility and release any lingering tension. Let your shoulders relax, your body melt into the mattress, and your thoughts drift like leaves on a quiet stream. As you settle into this moment, imagine a cozy room, softly lit, the world outside hushed and still. The day's worries are far behind you, and all that remains is the steady rhythm of your breath and the story we're about to share. Liam's journey is one of dreams and determination, a tale to lull you into rest. Whispered Tales is a sanctuary for your mind, each episode crafted to help you let go and embrace the stillness of the night. Whether you're here to escape the rush of life or simply to find peace, we're grateful you're with us. Let's begin our story. In a charming village where Liam Hayes first heard the call of the road. Liam grew up in the quiet village of Willowbrook, a place where cobblestone paths wound through quaint cottages and open fields stretched toward the horizon. The village was small, with a single main street lined with a bakery, a general store, and a repair shop that always smelled of oil and metal. It was here, in this unassuming corner of the world, that Liam's love for machines took root. His family lived in a modest stone house, its front yard a patchwork of clover and dandelions, dotted with Liam's earliest creations, homemade carts crafted from scraps of wood and metal. From a young age, Liam was fascinated by anything that moved. His parents often told the story of how, as a toddler, he would toddle after the village's old delivery van, giggling as its engine sputtered down the lane. By the time he was 6, Liam was already tinkering in the family's shed, a rickety wooden structure behind the house that became his sanctuary. The shed was cluttered with tools, hammers, wrenches, and a rusty saw that Liam wielded with surprising care for a child. Old bicycle wheels, discarded planks, and bits of wire were his treasures, each piece holding the promise of something new. Liam's first project was a simple cart built with his best friend, Nora. The two of them spent countless afternoons in the shed, their small hands working together to hammer nails into a wooden frame. The cart was a humble thing, 4 uneven wheels scavenged from a broken wheelbarrow, a plank seat sanded smooth by Liam's careful hands, and a steering rope made from an old clothesline. But to Liam, it was a masterpiece. He painted it bright red, using a can of leftover paint from his father's toolbox, and added a hand-drawn emblem of a soaring hawk on the side. The hawk, he said, was because he wanted to fly down the hill behind the house, fast and free. That hill, a gentle slope at the edge of Willowbrook, was the village children's racetrack. It dipped through a meadow where tall grasses swayed in the breeze and ended near a sparkling creek that gurgled softly. Liam and Nora would drag their cart to the top, their sneakers crunching on the gravel path, and take turns racing down. The cart rattled and wobbled, its wheels squeaking with every turn, but Liam felt a thrill unlike anything else. The wind whipped through his hair, the world blurring past in a rush of green and gold, and for those fleeting moments, he was weightless, untethered from the world. As Liam grew, so did his creations. By age 10, he had built 3 more carts, each one more ambitious than the last. The second was sturdier, with a frame reinforced by metal brackets he'd salvaged from a broken gate. Its wheels were smoother, thanks to hours spent sanding and oiling, and it bore a painting of Nora laughing, her ponytail swinging as she leaned into a turn. The third cart was Liam's pride, crafted from polished oak he'd found in the shed. Its sleek surface gleamed under a coat of varnish, applied with such care that it felt soft to the touch, like a river stone warmed by the sun. This cart was unpainted, its natural wood too beautiful to cover, though Liam etched a tiny star into its side, a nod to the night sky he loved to watch while dreaming of speed. Building these carts was more than play for Liam. It was a craft. He learned to measure twice before cutting, to balance weight for better control, and to align axles so the wheels spun smoothly. His hands grew calloused from gripping tools, but he reveled in the work. Each cart was a puzzle, a challenge to make it faster, stronger, more perfect. He sketched designs on scraps of paper, sprawled across the kitchen table after dinner, his pencil tracing curves and angles late into the evening. His mother would smile, ruffling his hair, and remind him to get to bed. But Liam's mind was always racing, imagining the next improvement. Liam's talent wasn't just mechanical. He had a knack for understanding how things worked together, how the weight of a cart affected its speed, how the angle of a wheel could change its path. He'd spent hours reading his father's old physics books, dog-eared pages filled with diagrams of motion and force. He didn't always understand the equations, but he felt their truth on the hill, where every bump and turn taught him something new. Chemistry came into play too, as he experimented with different oils to reduce friction or mixed paints to get just the right shade for his carts. One summer, when Liam was 11, he and Nora decided to race their latest cart against the other village children. The event was a small affair, organized on a dusty stretch of path near the creek. The air was thick with the scent of sun-warmed earth, and the chatter of excited kids filled the meadow. Liam's cart, the oak one with the star, was the star of the show. Its polished surface caught the sunlight, and the other children gathered around, murmuring in awe. Nora, ever the showman, declared it the fastest cart in Willowbrook, and Liam couldn't help but grin. The race was a blur of laughter and cheers. Liam took the wheel first, his hands steady on the rope as he steered down the slope. The cart glided smoothly, its wheels humming against the packed dirt. He leaned into each turn, feeling the cart respond to his every move, as if it were an extension of himself. Nora whooped from the sidelines, her voice rising above the crowd. Liam didn't win that day another boy's cart, lighter and nimbler, crossed the finish line first, but the thrill of the race stayed with him. As he lay in bed that night, Staring at the ceiling, he could still feel the rush of the wind, the vibration of the wheels, the pure joy of moving fast. Liam was 12 years old when he first experienced the thrill of a professional race. It was a warm Saturday afternoon, and his family had planned a special outing to the Silverstone circuit, a sprawling racetrack an hour's drive from Willowbrook. The journey itself was an adventure for Liam. He sat in the back seat of his parents' old station wagon, his face pressed against the window, watching the countryside blur past. Every passing car was a marvel to him: sleek sedans, rumbling trucks, even the occasional motorcycle weaving through traffic. He imagined himself behind the wheel, the road stretching out like an open invitation. When they arrived at Silverstone, Liam's heart raced before he even stepped out of the car. The racetrack was alive with energy, a sprawling expanse of smooth asphalt framed by grandstands and colorful banners fluttering in the breeze. The air buzzed with the low growl of engines warming up, a sound that sent a shiver down Liam's spine. His parents led him to a grassy hill overlooking the track, where families spread out picnic blankets like patches of a vibrant quilt. Liam chose a spot near the top, where he could see the sweeping curves of the track and the iconic hairpin turn that drivers navigated with precision. To him, it was the perfect seat, a front-row view to a world got a dream. As the crowd settled in, Liam felt the excitement building like a wave, the chatter of spectators, the rustle of programs, and the distant hum of engines blended into a symphony that made his pulse quicken. He clutched a small notebook where he'd sketched designs for his karts, now using it to jot down everything he saw: the sleek lines of the race cars, the way their tires gleamed under the sun, the vibrant colors that flashed as they zoomed past. His father handed him a pair of binoculars, and Liam peered through them, marveling at the drivers in their helmets, their faces focused and calm despite the chaos about to unfold. When the race began, it was unlike anything Liam had ever seen. The announcer's voice crackled through a megaphone, counting down to the start. A roar erupted as the lights turned green, and a rainbow of cars surged forward, their engines screaming in harmony. Liam's eyes widened as he followed their movements. Each car a streak of color slicing through the air. The precision of their turns, the way they danced around the hairpin, left him breathless. He could feel the power of the machines, the way they gripped the track, their tires singing against the asphalt. It was more than speed, it was artistry, a delicate balance of skill and instinct. Liam leaned forward, his elbows sinking into the soft grass, completely absorbed. The crowd's cheers washed over him, lifting him like a tide. He imagined himself in one of those cars, hands gripping the wheel, the world blurring past as he chased the finish line. The thought sent a thrill through him, a spark that settled deep in his chest. This was what he wanted: not just to build karts, but to drive, to feel the pulse of a machine responding to his every command, to be part of this electrifying world. As the race unfolded, Liam noticed the details that made it magical. The way the sun glinted off the car's polished surfaces, casting fleeting reflections. The rhythmic whir of engines as they passed, each note distinct yet part of a greater melody. The pit lane, a hive of activity where crews swapped tires with lightning speed, their movements as choreographed as a dance. Liam scribbled notes furiously, sketching the curve of a car's spoiler, the angle of a tire, anything that might help him build something faster, better, back in Willowbrook. When the race ended, the crowd rose to their feet, cheering as the winner crossed the finish line in a blaze of glory. Liam stood too, clapping until his hands stung, his heart full. The champion took a victory lap, waving to the crowd, and Liam watched, transfixed. He could see the joy in the driver's posture, the way the car seemed to celebrate with him, its engine purring contentedly. For Liam, it was a moment of clarity. This wasn't just a hobby or a game, it was a calling. He wanted to be out there, not just watching, but driving, feeling the track beneath him, chasing that fleeting moment of perfection. By the time Liam turned 13, his passion for machines had grown into an unshakable part of him. The carts he'd built in his family's shed were faster now, their wheels smoother, their frames sturdier, but Liam dreamed of something more, a real car, with a roaring engine and a steering wheel that would answer his every move. His parents, sensing the fire in his eyes, decided his 13th birthday would be the day he'd take the wheel for the first time. They arranged a special surprise with their neighbor, Mr. Thompson, a farmer who owned a sprawling field just outside Willowbrook, perfect for a young driver's first adventure. That morning, Liam woke to the smell of pancakes and the sound of his parents whispering excitedly in the kitchen. After a quick breakfast, they piled into the family station wagon and drove to Mr. Thompson's farm. Liam's heart pounded as they rolled through the creaky gate, the gravel crunching under the tires. Mr. Thompson greeted them with a warm smile, gesturing to an old pickup truck parked at the edge of a grassy field. Its blue paint was faded, chipped in places from years of use, but to Liam, it was the most beautiful thing he'd ever seen. His father handed him the keys, and Liam's hands trembled as he took them, the metal cool against his palm. Climbing into the driver's seat was like stepping into a dream. The truck's interior smelled of leather and oil, a comforting mix that made Liam feel at home. He sank into the worn seat, its cushions molding to his frame, and gripped the steering wheel, warmed by the morning sun. His father sat beside him, offering a reassuring nod, while his mother watched from the field, her camera ready to capture the moment. Liam took a deep breath, the air tasting of fresh grass and possibility. He turned the key, and the engine rumbled to life, a deep, steady growl that vibrated through his chest. "Ease into it, Liam," his father said, his voice calm but proud. Liam pressed the clutch, shifted into first gear, and slowly released the pedal. The truck lurched forward, and for a moment, Liam's heart skipped, but he adjusted, feeling the vehicle respond to his touch. He steered carefully, guiding the truck across the field, the tires rolling smoothly over the uneven ground. The world outside seemed to slow, the hills and trees gliding past as Liam focused on the dashboard, fuel gauge steady, speedometer creeping up, every meter alive with purpose. He laughed, a bright, unguarded sound, as the truck climbed a gentle rise, the horizon stretching out before him like a promise. For hours, Liam drove through the field, weaving around hay bales Mr. Thompson had set up as a makeshift course. Each turn taught him something new, how to feel the truck's weight shift, how to ease off the accelerator to maintain control. The engine's hum became a song, one he conducted with every press of the pedal, every turn of the wheel. When he finally parked, his cheeks flushed and his eyes bright, he felt a new kind of freedom, one that went beyond his childhood carts. This was real driving, and it was everything he'd imagined. 3 years later, at 16, Liam was ready for an even bigger challenge, his first real race. Willowbrook didn't have a racetrack, but a nearby town hosted an amateur rally on a winding dirt course carved through a valley. Liam's father had been preparing him, letting him practice in the family car on quiet back roads, teaching him to read the road's curves and anticipate its challenges. For the race, they borrowed Mr. Thompson's truck, now fitted with new tires and a roll bar for safety. Liam spent weeks preparing, checking the engine, adjusting the suspension, and sketching the course in his notebook, memorizing every turn. The day of the race dawned bright and clear, the valley buzzing with excitement. Spectators lined the course, their picnic blankets dotting the grass like wildflowers. Liam stood by the truck, his heart racing as he took in the scene, the colorful banners flapping in the breeze, the scent of grilled sausages wafting from a nearby stall, the chatter of other drivers, some seasoned, others as new as he was. Their eyes flicked toward him, a mix of curiosity and skepticism. But Liam's focus was on the course ahead, its dirt path shimmering under the sun. When the race began, Liam's nerves melted into focus. The starter's flag dropped, and he launched forward, the truck's engine roaring as he shifted gears. The course was a blur of dust and motion, the other vehicles weaving around him like dancers in a chaotic ballet. Liam gripped the wheel, his eyes scanning the path, remembering the hairpin turn he'd studied, the slight dip where he could gain speed. The truck responded beautifully, its tires digging into the dirt as he leaned into each curve, the world narrowing to the rhythm of the race. Competing was different from driving alone. Liam had to think 3 steps ahead, watching for gaps to overtake, guarding his position, feeling the other driver's presence like a pulse. By the 10th lap, he was in 9th place, holding his own against more experienced racers. His arms ached, his tracksuit heavy with sweat, but he pushed on, the truck's engine singing under his command. In the final laps, he saw his chance a straight stretch where he could floor the accelerator. He surged forward, passing 2 cars, their drivers glancing at him in surprise. As he crossed the finish line, the crowd's cheers washed over him, and Liam realized he'd taken 3rd place, a stunning achievement for his first race. Stepping out of the truck, Liam felt the ground solid beneath him, but his heart was still soaring. The podium was a simple wooden platform, but to him it was a throne. He stood there, a shy smile spreading across his face, as the race organizer handed him a small trophy, its weight grounding him in the moment. The thrill of the race, the dust in the air, the roar of the engine, the dance of the cars lingered in his bones. This was where he belonged, and he knew it was only the beginning. Years had passed since Liam's first race at 16, each one filled with countless hours behind the wheel, honing his craft. The dirt paths and makeshift tracks of his youth had given way to professional circuits, where the stakes were higher, the cars faster, and the competition fiercer. Liam had raced in dozens of amateur rallies, each one a lesson in precision, strategy, and resilience. His hands, once small and calloused from building carts, were now strong and steady, guiding powerful machines through hairpin turns and blistering straights. Every race was a step closer to his dream, a chance to prove himself not just to the world, but to the boy who once raced down a hill in a homemade cart. It was in his 19th year, during a regional rally on a sun-scorched track outside a bustling town, that Liam claimed his first victory. The event was a grueling 40-minute sprint, a test of endurance as much as speed. The track was a beast, its surface pocked with ruts from recent rains, its corners tight and unforgiving. Liam drove a modified sedan, a lean machine he'd spent months tuning with his father in their garage. The car was an extension of him, its engine tuned to sing at his command, its tires gripping the track like an old friend. As the race began, Liam felt the familiar rush of adrenaline, but it was tempered by a calm focus he'd cultivated over years. The starting grid was a kaleidoscope of gleaming cars, their drivers tense and ready. When the lights flashed green, Liam surged forward, the sedan leaping off the line with a roar that echoed through the valley. The field was tight, cars jostling for position, but Liam stayed steady, his eyes scanning the track for openings. He drove with a rhythm, shifting gears smoothly, easing into turns with a precision that felt almost meditative. The world outside the cockpit faded. There was only the track, the car, and the pulse of the race. By the halfway mark, Liam had climbed to fourth place, trailing a pack of seasoned drivers. The track was punishing, dust swirling in clouds that stung his eyes. But he pressed on, his hands firm on the wheel. In the final laps, he saw his chance a narrow gap on the inside of a sweeping curve. He floored the accelerator, the sedan responding with a surge of power, and slipped past the third-place car. The crowd roared, their cheers a distant hum through his helmet. But Liam's focus was unshakable. With one lap to go, he overtook the second-place driver, then set his sights on the leader. The final straight was a blur, the finish line rushing toward him. As he crossed it, a fraction of a second ahead, the realization hit he'd won. The moment was electric. Liam pulled into the pit lane, his heart pounding as he climbed from the car. The crowd's cheers washed over him, and he let out a triumphant shout that echoed across the track. His father rushed forward, pulling him into a hug, while Nora, now a steadfast supporter, waved from the sidelines, her grin as wide as it had been in their kart racing days. Standing on the podium, a simple metal platform under a fluttering banner, Liam held the winner's trophy, a small gleaming cup that felt monumental in his hands. The victory was more than a race won. It was a promise kept to the boy who'd dreamed of this moment under the Willowbrook stars. A year later, at 20, Liam stepped onto an even bigger stage, his first professional championship. The event was a 3-day spectacle at a renowned circuit, its grandstands packed with thousands of spectators. Liam was no longer the wide-eyed newcomer. He was a contender, driving a sleek race car sponsored by a local garage. The championship was a test of skill and stamina, with multiple races across varied conditions. The track was a masterpiece of design, its long straights giving way to technical corners that demanded split-second decisions. Liam felt the weight of the moment, but also a deep sense of belonging. This was where he was meant to be. Each race was a battle. The field crowded with drivers whose experience far outstripped his own, yet Liam drove with a quiet intensity, his mind clear as he navigated the track. Driving had become his meditation, a space where worries dissolved and the world made sense. The car was his partner, its engine a steady heartbeat, its tires whispering secrets of the asphalt. He felt every shift in the track's surface, every gust of wind, and adjusted instinctively, his movements fluid and precise. The crowd's energy was a backdrop, but inside the cockpit, there was only calm, a stillness that let him hear the car's needs and respond in kind. By the final day, Liam was in contention for a top spot. The last race was a grueling affair, the track slick from an earlier drizzle, the air thick with tension. He started in 6th, but lap by lap, he climbed the ranks. Overtaking with calculated daring, the other drivers pushed back, their cars weaving to block his path. But Liam's focus was unbreakable. He finished the championship in fourth place, a remarkable feat for his professional debut. As he crossed the finish line, the roar of the crowd felt like a warm embrace, and he let himself sink into the moment. The car's vibrations, a gentle lullaby. After years of chasing the thrill of the racetrack, Liam decided to retire from professional racing. His career had been a tapestry of victories and challenges, from his first triumphant win to his impressive fourth-place finish in the professional championship at 20. Each race had been a chapter in his story, filled with the roar of engines, the blur of asphalt, and the pulse of competition. But as he entered his 30s, Liam felt a gentle shift within him, a longing for a quieter life, one still tethered to the machines he loved, but grounded in the simplicity of Willowbrook. Liam found his new calling in a small auto shop on the edge of the village, a weathered building with a tin roof and walls lined with tools. The shop was a haven, its air thick with the scent of motor oil and polished metal, a familiar comfort that felt like home. Here, Liam worked alongside his friend Nora, now a skilled mechanic, repairing cars for the villagers and travelers passing through. Each vehicle that rolled into the shop told a story, some with worn-out brakes from long journeys, others with engines that coughed and sputtered, begging for care. Liam's hands, still steady from years of gripping steering wheels, moved with ease as he tightened bolts, adjusted carburetors, and brought engines back to life, though he'd stepped away from the professional circuit. Liam's love for racing never faded. He joined local amateur rallies, held on dusty tracks in nearby towns, where the stakes were low but the joy was boundless. These races were less about trophies and more about the pure thrill of driving, the feel of tires gripping the earth, the hum of an engine responding to his touch. Liam drove an old rally car he and Nora had restored, its body painted a deep blue that shimmered under the sun. Each race was a return to his roots, a reminder of the boy who'd raced carts down the hill behind his house, laughing into the wind. At the shop, Liam became a mentor, sharing his knowledge with anyone who asked. Young mechanics, wide-eyed and eager, would gather around as he explained the intricacies of a suspension system or the art of tuning an engine for speed. Customers, too, recognized him from his racing days. Sometimes, an older villager would pause, their eyes lighting up with recognition, and say, "You're that Hayes boy, the one who tore up the tracks." Liam would smile, a quiet pride warming his chest, and spend a few extra minutes chatting about races long past, the memory of cheering crowds and sunlit asphalt as vivid as ever. Every evening, as the shop closed, Liam took on a ritual that felt like a small ceremony. He'd maneuver the day's cars into the garage, guiding them through tight spaces with the same precision he'd once used on the track. Each vehicle had its own character, some heavy and sluggish, others light and eager. Nora would leave notes on their windshields, her neat handwriting detailing repairs in rich black ink. Liam read each one as he parked, smiling at her familiar phrases, then locked up the shop and headed home, the day's work settling into a quiet satisfaction. At night, as Liam lay in bed, the world outside his window grew still, the village hushed under a blanket of stars. He'd close his eyes, and the memories of his racing days would come alive. He could see the sun-drenched tracks, their curves shimmering with heat, the way the light caught the edge of a car's hood. He heard the engines roar, a symphony that had once been his heartbeat, and felt the gentle vibration of the steering wheel under his hands. Each track had its own song, the rumble strips humming a unique tune, the tires whispering against the asphalt, the crowd's distant cheers weaving it all together. These memories were more than nostalgia. They were a quiet meditation, a way for Liam to reconnect with the boy who'd dreamed of speed and the man who'd made it real. As he drifted towards sleep, he saw himself back on the track, a young racer at the starting line, the green light flashing, the world falling away as he pressed the accelerator. The little details stood out, the glint of a race official's watch, the smell of coffee drifting from a nearby shed, the way the track seemed to breathe under his car. These were the moments that made racing his sanctuary, a place where he was free, unburdened, and whole. Liam's life had come full circle, from the carts in his shed to the podiums of his youth to the quiet evenings in Willowbrook. He was content, his heart full with the knowledge that he'd lived his passion fully. Each night, as sleep wrapped him in its gentle embrace, he carried the track with him, its curves and rhythms a lullaby that guided him into dreams. Tomorrow would bring new cars, new stories, and the same love for machines that had defined him since childhood. As you listen to Liam's story, let your body melt further into the bed, your breath slowing to a soft, steady rhythm. Picture Willowbrook at night, its lights dim, the stars bright above. Feel the peace of this moment, the quiet joy of a life well lived. Inhale deeply, letting calm fill your being. Exhale softly, releasing any lingering thoughts. Liam's journey has reached its restful end, and as you close your eyes, let your mind drift, carried gently into the stillness of sleep.